Silver Banshee, the lady with a murderous voice powerful enough to kill Superman. All villains come with their own set of abilities that make them unique. Here we have a supervillain with a lethal voice that was powerful enough to even kill Superman. Created by John Byrne, Silver Banshee's character was introduced in Action Comics in 1987. After having suffered due to her family and her past, this character goes through a transformation and emerges as a villain with the ability to kill large masses of people with just her deathly wails. Clad in a ghost costume, Silver Banshee has quite an unsettling appearance as she travels across the universe, searching for a precious belonging that has been long lost. Let us dive into her origins and learn more about this mysterious villain with a deathly voice. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Here's what I say to that.
In her very first comic appearance, she killed Superman. The Silver Banshee first appeared in the Action Comics issue 595, titled Ghost of the Superman, where she made a deadly appearance and went up against the superhero. As she walks around the streets of Metropolis, Silver Banshee gets weird looks and comments about her outfit and makeup. However, she does not let anybody get away with making fun of her, and much to everyone's terror, anybody who comes in her path ends up dying. It appears that her touch can be lethal to anyone who comes into contact with her, and she kills many civilians without batting an eye. Silver Banshee makes her way to a bookstore, and we learn that she is in search for a specific book. As she kills the bookstore manager, the civilians notice a strangeness in her voice and report it as a voice that sounds like if somebody who'd been dead for 1,000 years could talk. While the onlookers rush to inform the police, Silver Banshee goes from bookstore to bookstore and is determined to find what she is looking for. She also gets in trouble with the police, but quickly subdues all of them except Superman, who is in a disguised form. Silver Banshee wonders why her powers are not working on this particular being when she finally realizes it's Superman who she is going up against. She asks him to stay out of this, but the superhero does not back off. Finally, she decides to increase the strength of her powers, and the onlooking policeman warns Superman that her touch is deadly. However, Silver Banshee reveals that it is not her touch, but rather her voice that is lethal. She ends up killing Superman, and the city of Metropolis goes into a state of shock over the surprising news. Lois Lane meets up with Batman, and they decide that they must do something about Superman's death. Martian Manhunter, another founding member of the Justice League from Mars, is also determined to do something as he thinks of a plan to get rid of the Silver Banshee. Meanwhile, arrangements for Superman's funeral are made, and a huge crowd shows up to pay their condolences to the dead superhero. At the funeral, a strange thing happens as a pale ghost rises from Superman's coffin and declares that he must finish what he set out to do and get rid of Silver Banshee. Meanwhile, Silver Banshee wreaks havoc at more bookstores when she comes across James Olsen, a reporter who is also Superman's close friend. She gloats about the fact that Superman won't be here to save him anymore, while at the same time, Superman's ghost makes its way to the bookstore. She is shocked to discover that the superhero is still alive and declares that her powers are simply undefeatable. She tries to kill him with her voice once more, but even Silver Banshee does not have the ability to kill ghosts. They battle it out, and the Silver Banshee's body ends up exploding while Superman returns to his physical form. The superhero checks up on James Olsen and then reveals himself to be John Johns, also known as the Martian Manhunter. Superman still remains in his ghost form as John Johns returns to his original form, and the two finally disclose their brilliant plan that defeated the Silver Banshee. They discovered that the supervillain's powers are of no use if she does not know the identity of her victims. Thus, John shapeshifted into Superman before going up against her. John also used his superhuman abilities to jumpstart Superman's body after he died, thereby bringing him back to life. Together, they worked to get rid of the menace that was Silver Banshee and made sure she could not terrorize the citizens of Metropolis for at least some time. Origins of the Silver Banshee explored. Born as Siobhan McDougall, Silver Banshee spent her childhood as a part of an exclusive Irish clan with special powers bestowed upon only the firstborns in the family. Siobhan left her castle Browan quite early in her childhood and set out to travel the world. She only returned to her family castle after hearing the news of her father's death. After her father's death, Siobhan was rightfully supposed to inherit the leadership of the clan through a ritual. However, she was stopped from performing the aforementioned ritual by her uncle Seamus, who opposed the idea of a woman leading their clan. He intended for Siobhan's younger brother, Bevan, to assume leadership instead of her. Without her family's support, Siobhan decided to go ahead and perform the ritual by herself, and even managed to call upon all the supernatural forces in the universe that were part of the ritual. However, her brother Bevan interrupted her, which ruined the ceremony and led to devastating side effects. Siobhan ended up being transported to the Netherverse and remained there for centuries and centuries to come. Here, she came across a supernatural entity known as Crone, who bestowed Siobhan with the powers that made her the Silver Banshee. In her new avatar, the Silver Banshee returned to the mortal world and went back to her family castle in search of her father's precious occult book. However, she was devastated to find out that the clan had sold off his books to bookstores in the USA. She was determined to find the book, which led her to Metropolis, and she wreaked havoc in multiple bookstores as she looked for her book. Her extensive role on the Supergirl TV series, Silver Banshee in Arrowverse. Silver Banshee was a recurring character on the Arrowverse show Supergirl, where we also get a glimpse into her past and family history. Played by Italia Ricci, Silver Banshee made appearances across the show's first 3 seasons and was a prominent character, especially in the first season. Introduced as a human named Siobhan Smythe, her character discovered the true extent of her powers and turned into the Silver Banshee as the show progressed. Siobhan Smythe worked as an assistant to Cat Grant at a media company known as Catgo Worldwide Media. However, she clashed with Kara Danvers as a new recruit who shared the same assistant position as Siobhan. The two did not get along and often tried to sabotage each other's plans. At the same company, Siobhan also met Wynn Scott, and the two soon got into a relationship. While Siobhan and Kara's rivalry continued, Siobhan got a substantial scoop of information on Supergirl. However, Kat did not release this information without further evidence, which frustrated Siobhan to no extent. She took matters into her own hands and decided to send the information to the Daily Planet on her own, hoping that it would pave her way as a reporter in Metropolis. However, Kara got wind of her plans and exposed her to Kat, who immediately fired Siobhan. Kara also blacklisted Siobhan in the media industry, and she struggled to get a new job. While Siobhan wallowed in her sorrows, she ended up on a rooftop with Wynn, where she lost control over her body and accidentally fell off the building. This was the moment she first realized her powers, as her screams produced loud sound waves that protected her from the fatal fall. Her screams also created a hole in the concrete on the ground below, and Siobhan questioned her true identity. She started getting visions and flashes about her past, and sought out her Aunt Sinead, who revealed her family history as a powerful clan in Ireland. In the show, Silver Banshee's powers originated from a curse placed on all the women of her family. When the women of her clan are wronged, they get possessed by the spirit of a banshee, which explains her newfound powers. Siobhan decided to get her revenge on Kat and Kara and joined forces with the supernatural entity Livewire, who also blamed Kat for her current state. The two made a plan to attack Kat and Kara, but Supergirl and Flash thwarted their plans. Siobhan, that is, Silver Banshee, was then handed over to the police and placed under arrest, which is the last that we know of her arc in the Arrowverse. Silver Banshee in the DC Animated Universe. Silver Banshee also appeared in various films in the extended DC universe, where she played minor roles in different animated series and movies. She appeared in the animated Justice League Unlimited series, where her character was included in various episodes as she worked alongside Metallo and other Secret Society members. She was also the inspiration behind Scream Queen, a character written into Batman the Brave and the Bold series. Silver Banshee also made an appearance in the animated Superman-Batman Public Enemies film, as well as the Batman Unlimited Monster Mayhem film, where her character worked alongside the Joker. Her alternate Siobhan persona also appeared in the animated Suicide Squad Hell to Pay movie. She also appeared in the animated DC Superhero Girls series, where she was a member of the Superhero School's debate team in Rock Band. She was also a part of live-action DC shows such as Smallville and the Arrowverse series Supergirl. Besides animated series and films, Silver Banshee was also a playable character in many DC video games. What makes her so powerful? Silver Banshee's death stare and death wail set her apart from most supervillains, as she has a unique set of powers. She possesses the ability to kill anybody with just her deathly stare, under the condition that she knows their name. On the other hand, she can use her voice as a weapon and scream a death wail that has the power to drive everybody around her insane or even fatally injure or kill them. Her wail is her preferred choice of weapon, and she often uses it while fighting off a large number of opponents. Moreover, she is immune to her cries and the wails or sonic screams of her opponents. She can also use her superhuman sonic voice to produce different types of sound waves and even kill her opponents by creating sound waves that vibrate their heartbeat at a speed that shatters their bones. Her screams can break glass, knock people off their feet, and are even powerful enough to work against extremely strong Kryptonians. However, it must be noted that these powers do not work against nameless or disguised opponents, and the Silver Banshee must know the real names of her victims for her abilities to work against them. Besides her deathly voice and stare, Silver Banshee also possesses superhuman durability, speed, and strength. Her supernatural strength equals that of approximately 10 men, making her an undefeatable opponent in any fight. She can also resist energy blasts as well as physical attacks with very little pain, and any injury to her body heals very quickly. She also has the ability to possess the bodies of her victims, and she can take over control of their bodily functions. Moreover, Silver Banshee can exploit her victims' worst fears by just touching them, and then weaponizing these fears to leave her victims in a weakened catatonic state. As seen in the DCAU animated series and films, Silver Banshee can also fly on her own, and chase after superheroes as well as escape them by flying away. She can teleport by evaporating and then reappearing as per her wish, and even teleport small distances without much trouble. She also has the ability to perform pyrokinesis, that is, create her own fire. In certain universes, Silver Banshee can even communicate with animals and speak all the languages of the world. Conclusion. To sum it up, Silver Banshee is one of the most interesting villains in the DC universe, with quite a unique set of powers and abilities. She has lived quite a tumultuous life and has never backed down from a challenge. She is also a determined opponent who does not rest until she has gotten her revenge, and it is advisable to stay out of her way at all costs. And, if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.